Hi, I'm Ryan. I have a full-time job, I have a 3-year-old son, and I have a 1-year-old daughter. I'm married to an amazing woman, and I also game dev. I'm currently working on my first open world game called Nightstones. A few months ago, I ran a poll here on YouTube asking if people would like to see anything other than devlogs about my game. And what you guys wanted to see was an episode on how I find time to game dev. So in this episode, I'm going to show you my typical day. My wake up time really depends on how well my kids slept through the night, but generally speaking, I'm up between 4 and 6 a.m. By 7 a.m., everyone has had their breakfast, and with a cup of coffee in my hand, I'll take the kids outside so my wife has a chance to get ready before she's on kid duty for the rest of the day. Today was a pretty good day outside. We watched some construction, threw some rocks, and took some adorable pictures on Snapchat. After getting home, the house becomes a mash of kids getting dressed and some inside playtime. My son is a literal mini-me, and he's obsessed with trains, and I'm super willing to help him build the next Grand Central Station. I tried to tell my kiddos to act normal for YouTube, and that meant that they should do this. At 8 a.m., I game dev for an hour. I develop on a 4-year-old laptop, but I recently purchased a second monitor, so I feel like my setup is starting to get pretty fancy. Today I'm working on creating a playable demo of my game, since I'm hoping to get some alpha testers from my Kickstarter campaign. And that means working on things like a mini-map to help guide you around the world, which is what I'm working on today. Speaking of Kickstarter, I'm starting the Nightstones Kickstarter campaign at the same time I'm releasing this video. The Kickstarter ends November 16th, and I would madly, truly, deeply appreciate your support with the campaign. I've left a link in the description. This time in front of my desk is limited and precious to me. I never ever sit and think at my desk. I can think later. I can think and brainstorm when I'm watching Finding Nemo for the 1000th time. I'm a pretty simple dude. I keep a to-do list in a Word document, and if I hit a roadblock on one task, I stop doing that task and move on to the next task. I can think about how to resolve it later. I'll game dev for an hour, and then it's time to start my job. And I am very fortunate that most of the time, I don't have to move from my desk to start my real job. My real job is providing my engineering services as an independent contractor. My degrees are in electrical engineering, and I still do a little bit of board design, but mostly I do embedded software design in C and C++. If you go way back in my YouTube history, you can see my transition to game dev begin as my initial programming projects are developing firmware for custom boards that I designed to make synchronized music and light shows. Even back then, I wanted to create an entertaining experience. Developing games allows me to be creative while still using my technical skills, and that's one of the reasons I love game dev so much. At lunchtime, my wife and I take turns watching the kids while the other person works out. We both exercise daily, and it's super important to us. It keeps my mood elevated and keeps my mind sharp for the rest of the afternoon. And I want to live forever so I can spend as much time as possible with my kids, so working out and staying healthy is a top priority for me. After my workout, it's time for a shower and then back at my desk to work while I eat actual lunch. I typically stop work between 5:30 and 6. After work, I'll take the kids outside to give my wife a much needed break. We live in Southern California, so the weather usually allows me to take the kids out to the community pool, and it's a great way to unwind from the day. After some pool time, we come inside and enjoy a nice family dinner. This is one of my favorite times of the day because we always eat good food and we always goof off as a family together. After dinner, I get the kids ready for bed while my wife cleans up the horrendous messes from all day. They say not to let your kids watch TV before bed because it amps them up, but for our crazy kids, watching TV is actually more sedate than what they would otherwise do, which is running around the living room at top speed. This is typically a good time for me to think about my game and what I'm going to work on next. Unless I can convince the kids to watch Bluey, because Bluey is friggin' awesome and there are so many episodes I haven't seen. The kids go to bed at 8 and they are really good about this. The whole operation takes less than 5 minutes. Sure, they'll probably be up in a few hours needing something, but the whole process of getting them down to sleep is actually really smooth. After the kids go to bed, I'll work on Nightstones for another hour. I didn't finish the mini-map this morning, so I'm going to keep working on it now. It's not perfect, but that can be tomorrow's problem. After an hour of game dev, I shut it down at 9 p.m. so the missus and I can enjoy our only alone time of the day. But not to worry, I'll think through some of the details of Nightstones as I'm falling asleep, and implement a new feature tomorrow. I hope you guys enjoy the demo, and I look forward to showing you the progress in the next Nightstones devlog.